because
yeah, that was my dad. I've had some really weird heckles. One bloke just walked up to the stage once and said, "Stop talking."
Really?
He just went, "Stop talking."
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, because I mean, it must. I spoke to Tiff-Stevenson the other day, and I spoke to her about being a harder. Did she think it was harder for a female or in comedy or? Hello.
Hello, yeah.
Did she, I spoke to Tiff-Stevenson, and she said I spoke to her about being a female in comedy.
Yes.
And did she think it was harder than being a female comedian and a man?
Right. And what did she say?
Well, she said she thought it was harder to open the doors, but it's no harder once you're on stage.
I've never considered my gender.
No, I love female comics. I've said that to her, and I love female comics, and as much as I like male, in fact, probably better actually. But that's a different story, really. But there doesn't seem to be so many in the mainstream. I mean, you've got Joe Brand, and you've got should we say Sarah Millican, but the rest of them are, you don't see too many on TV.
What can I say? I mean, I've never considered my gender.
No, that's okay.
Like, I never go on stage and think I'm a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Never go on stage and think I'm a woman, I'm a female comic. I just always thought of myself as non-sexual, really.
Okay. No.
Just kind of go on stage and say what I want to say and try and be as funny as I can. I've never felt... There's other things I felt that have held me back, but being a woman has not been one of them.
Well, what have you felt has held you back?
I think a lot of... When I came into comedy, a lot of people... Because I was the only Asian woman in comedy when I started.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been, actually, for a long time. I mean, there's a few coming up now, but really not a lot. And when I started, there was no one.
Mm.
And I felt a pressure on me all the time. I had people saying to me, "Oh, you need to talk about these issues. Well, I mean, you need to talk about what's happening in the news. I mean, why are your lot behaving like this? I mean, why don't you talk about terrorism and, arranged marriage and forced marriage, and why don't you talk about this?" And I said, "Why do you want me to talk about that?" And they said, "Well, you're in a position where you can talk about it." And I wasn't interested in talking about it. And I felt pressured into talking about issues and things that were in the news. Whereas all the time I just wanted to joke about Primark. I wanted to talk about the 5 socks I got for £1 and why I need to go into Primark. And it's like a jumble sale. Every time I go in there, I just want to clean up.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be silly and talk about these things. And when I did, I remember doing a routine once about Primark and then another one about facial hair and how I had a moustache and how I couldn't get rid of my moustache and how I bleached it. And, when I got in the lift under the lights, I looked like Father Christmas, And I was doing all these jokes and I had this journalist come up to me once and he goes, "Why are you talking about Primark?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, why are you talking about Primark?" I said, "Well, because I think it's funny. I went in there yesterday. I think it's terrible. What's going on in there? It's a mess." And he said, "Yeah, but there's so many other things you could be talking about.
Well,
it's a waste of a good Muslim."
No, I think actually the sort of observational and that sort of comedy I think is great. Anyhow, I'll let you go. I know you're busy. Let's quickly run through the tour again. It's called The Kardashians Made Me Do It.
Yes.
You're on at the Aylesbury Queen's Park Centre, and if you want to book tickets for that, the telephone number is 01296 424 332. It's on February the 5th, Friday the February the 5th, and you can there go and see what was described by the Observer as one of the 50th funniest ladies in British comedy. Thank you very much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you. I hope I got your name right.
You did. I had terrible trouble with you. I'm sorry about that. Apologies.
That's okay.
My mouth and brain don't always work together.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Gary Fitz here, every Monday, 10 o'clock. Coming up, we've got Eric and Ernie. Join me here on Seclo Sounds.
In your smile.
It's from 1975, Eric and Ernie were four...
Gary, it's not Eric and Ernie, it's Earl and Ernie, the Cape Brothers, Union Man.
Oh, I see. Gary Fitz here, every Monday, 10 o'clock. Earl and Ernie.
I knew Shaz's name would give me a problem. Me and my mouth, brain and mouth never seem to work together. Anyhow, it's event time. Let's see if I can get that organised. Tomorrow night at the Stables and Wednesday night at the Stables is Ed Byrne the comic. He's almost sold out, so there may be a few tickets left by now, but I don't know. I know there were few and far between the other day. And then the following night, Thursday the 28th, John Coughlin's Quo. John Coughlin was with Quo for, I believe, over a decade, and he's going to be playing some of their songs. The following night, something for everybody. Friday the 29th, we've got Sid Lawrence Orchestra performing at the Stables. And then on Sunday the 31st, Riata Austin was on the show last week. She's in a show called Back to Baccarat, which is an amazing show, celebrating the life of Burt Baccarat. If you want tickets for that, the box office is 01908 280 800, or it's www.stables.org. And then down at Milton Keynes Theatre, my wife's going tomorrow night to see this. Opens tomorrow night, Tuesday the 26th, run through till Saturday the 30th of January. Direct from the West End. I think it only finished there on Saturday. Award-winning choreographer Matthew Bourne and his version of Sleeping Beauty. A real treat for ballet fans. Tickets for that, atgtickets.com/Milton Keynes or 0844 871 7652. And then a little bit of something for the big fans of the 70s and the 80s, the old soul stuff. Over at Auburn Arena on next Saturday, the 30th of January, the Fatback Band are in town. Any of you remember them? They had hits with Do the Bus Stop, and then, of course, in the 80s, the biggest hit of all, I Found Lovin'. They've recorded 35 albums together. They're on at the Auburn Arena. Tickets for that is 01727 844 488 and on www.auburn-arena.co.uk. Well, I'm going to be playing a long track to say goodbye, so I'm going to try and squeeze in as much of this as I can. Big thanks today to Tiff-Stevenson and Shazia-Mirza. I hope they've got it right. Next week on the show, I'm joined by rock chick Chantel McGregor and my friend Kevin Hall. He'll be joining me next week to explain about his new project. So please join me next Monday at 10 here on Seclo Sounds. Until then, from me, Terry Sullivan, it's bye for now, and I leave you with this, the classic Eagles song. This is Hotel California.
his chambers. They're gathered for their feast. They stab it with their stealing eyes, but they just can't kill the beast. Last thing I remember, I was running for the door. I had to find a passage back to the place I was before. Relax, said the night man, we are programmed to receive. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
MK Pulse proudly sponsors Seclo Sounds. MK Pulse is Milton Keynes' local magazine, bringing helpful information on food, health, fashion, money, travel, culture and much more to 84,000 people every month. Plus news, views and what's on from around the city. If it's happening in Milton Keynes, it's in MK Pulse and it's available online at www.mkpulse.co.uk. MK Pulse and Seclo Sounds, the heart and soul of the city.